Hi everybody, this is the Football Hut, the amazing, spectacular, terrific, the great one, the People's Champion. Your host, the Hut, and welcome back to the Football Hut. I hope you like this video. Unsubscribe. You want to learn about Colorado football and what's going on with this great coach, Deion Sanders. Hit that subscribe button. You'll get to learn what his reaction was to his team's win on Saturday and how people look at him and other programs. So here we go from usatoday.com. Colorado scores a dramatic win, but Deion Sanders isn't happy. Oh, no. He's sick of the team's mediocrity. Colorado head football coach, Deion Sanders flashed a bit of his temper here Saturday in the post-game news conference at Arizona State. His team survived the game, beating the Sun Devils 27-24. But this was not how he wants to win, not with another slow start, more poor blocking, and a 94-yard touchdown drive from Arizona State to tie the game in the final minute. Quote, I apologize for my anger today, but I don't expect mediocrity, Sanders said. Sanders said he's sick of it, and he never raised his voice, but he had several things to get off his chest afterward. He even seemed much more unhappy after this win than he was after a loss the previous week, when his team rallied from a 27-point deficit against Southern California, but for only short, 48-41. He blamed himself, too, when asked what he said to his team afterwards. I've delivered every type of message you can fathom, he said. It's not just the team. This is all of us. This is me and the coaches included. The Buffaloes fell into an early hole like usual before getting more clutch quarterback play from Sanders' son, Shedeur, in front of an announced crowd of 54,000 plus at Mountain America Stadium. Colorado kicker Alejandro Mata then kicked a 43-yard field goal straight to the uprights with 12 seconds remaining to secure the win. But the Buffs committed 8 penalties, gave up 5 sacks, and rarely even kicked the ball through the end zone on kickoffs, which annoyed their coach as well. Quote, I don't know how everyone else's kickers kicked the ball out of the end zone but ours. Shedeur Sanders still lifted the team on his back to make it up for it before finishing with 26-42 passing, for 239 yards and 1 touchdown. He also rushed 16 yards for another touchdown in the second quarter to help tie the game 14-14. Quote, I can't expect to win. I expect to win. I expect to win in a better fashion than that, Deion Sanders said. I'm sick of these consistent holes that we're displaying and penalties and things that we're doing. We're so much better. Deion Sanders rattled off these grievances despite pulling the Buffs to within 2 wins of bowl eligibility in his first year on the job. Just 1 season after they finished 1-11. It's all part of the portfolio for Coach Prime. Increased frustration not from a failure to win, but from a failure to be better than just okay. Starting slow has been a sore spot for Sanders, who preached about it in the week before the game. After Arizona State, which was 1-5, went up 7-0 on the first drive of the game. His son was sacked on his first snap, then again on his third. Colorado punted the ball away on 4 of its first 5 possessions and entered halftime down 17-14. Quote, played like hot garbage, Deion said. I'm trying to figure this out. Sick of it, I really am. I'm sick of us coming out here and putting forth the effort we put forth in the first half. His team responded on its second drive of the game by going for 75 yards in 16 plays to tie 7-7. Yet when a reporter asked him about that second drive afterwards, Deion Sanders didn't want to let go of what preceded it. What about the first drive, Deion Sanders asked. What about the first 2 plays? How do you start out a game like that with a quarterback like this? It's all about expectations. His are high after a career as a Pro Bowl Hall of Famer and former 2-sport star. I'm sorry with my impatience, he said. I don't have patience for too much in life. You ask my kids. Arizona State rang up 5 sacks against one of those kids, Shedeur Sanders, adding to the elite level pounding he's taken this year's, despite ranking 6th nationally in completion percentage before the game. Colorado entered the game ranking 2nd nationally in sacks allowed behind Old Dominion. Quote, he's upset with hit after hit after hit, Deion Sanders said. You think he's happy being the most sacked guy in college football? And he's doing what he's capable of doing. He's sick of it. Deion Sanders on the reliance of his son. At one point near the end of the third quarter, Shedeur Sanders got sacked again, this time for a 17-yard loss on third down. He then trudged back to the sideline and sat alone on the bench with his head in his hands. I'm on the sideline frustrated, and it was like, it's time, Shedeur said. It's time to do whatever it takes to win, and by any means. He took charge after that, even lowering his shoulder during one play on his next drive in an attempt to run over an Arizona State defender and provide a spark for his team. He ended up leading the Buffs 61 yards in 7 plays, capped by a 9-yard touchdown pass. The receiver Javon Antonio with 14:32 left to help give Colorado a 21-17 lead. Colorado ended up scoring on 3 of his final 4 possessions after the third quarter sack, enough to hang on for a win in a different kind of atmosphere for the Buffs. It was hot, nearly 100 degrees before it got dark. And it was more quiet than the previous 5 games when they attracted huge national audiences on Fox, ESPN, or ABC. By contrast, this game against unranked Arizona State was televised on the unlimited distribution of the Pac-12 networks, making it harder for the masses to watch Shedeur's Superman act Saturday night. It's like we were waiting on him to put on his cape and do what he does, Deion Sanders said. That's what he does every week. You guys should be accustomed to it by now. One bright spot for Deion Sanders was his team's defense in the second half, at least until the end, when it created at the wrong time. After Colorado went up 21-17, the Buffs even forced Arizona State to punt it back after 3 straight plays, putting the ball in the hands of Colorado punt returner Xavier Weaver, who exploded 51 yards upfield to the Arizona State 25-yard line early in the fourth quarter. Colorado almost could have put the game away at this point, but another sack of Shedeur put the Buffs in another hole, and this time they needed Mata to bail them out with a 42-yard field goal to put Colorado up 24-17 with 10:13 left. All the Buffs needed to do from there was hold the fort on defense, but they couldn't. Quote, "First of all, there's no way a team should drive 94 yards on us to tie the game. No way, no way," Deion Sanders said. The Sun Devils did just that when they started at their own 6-yard line and took 13 plays to tie the game at 24-24 with 50 seconds left. The drive was led by Arizona State quarterback Trenton Burkett, who completed 32 49 passes in the game for 335 yards and 1 touchdown and a 15-yarder in the right corner to cap the 94-yard march. Fortunately for the Buffs, they had Mata, the kicker who came with Deion Sanders from Jackson State, along with Shedeur and several others. After Shedeur got the ball back with 50 seconds left, he went deep on the next play to Antonio, who had raced several feet in front of his defender near the left sideline. He hauled it in for a 43-yard gain that brought Colorado to the Arizona State 32-yard line. "Losing is just not in me," Shedeur Sanders said. "It was like we got a chance, we're going to win. If it's not too late in the game, we're going to win." 3 plays later, Mata got the call to kick the potential game winner with 18 seconds left. Arizona State even tried rallying him by calling a timeout, as they tried to ice him, I guess. It didn't work. Quote, you could call a timeout and freeze him all you want," Deion Sanders said. "That don't mean nothing to Mata. Mata, that's who he is. What he always says to me when I walk over to him and give him a hug, he says, 'I don't miss,' and I love it. So I told him to do your thing. He did. He kicked the game winner, raised his arms, and danced. He is now 4 for 4 in field goals at Colorado. Mata don't miss," Sanders said. That made him happy up to a point. Colorado next faces Stanford at home on Friday night. Another week of corrections awaits the Buffs before then, just like last week. Quote, "We flipped practices, we had really diligent meetings, and we're trying to figure this out because I'm sick of it," Sanders said. And if you want to watch videos like this continuing, please hit the subscribe button and let me know what you think about this video, and I'll see you later.